Welcome to Urban Birds and Bees. We welcome everyone here. We're in the midst of Culver City at the beautiful EMA Members Lounge. And here we have a phenomenal conversation, but we have this amazing audience. Audience, give yourself a big round of applause. Oh my God. It's a solid crowd and everyone here because they're here to talk about generational daddy issues. Ooh. Now, how many of you guys have heard about generational daddy issues, right?
Daddy issues.
Or about daddy issues, period, but we're talking about generational daddy issues, which, you know, with all kidding aside, is a very crucial dynamic within, particularly in the Black community, because there's a significant fatherless dynamic among most, I think it's something like 80% of single-led households are led by Black women in the Black community. And so we can only imagine what happens. But one of the things that we're going to discuss as well is even if daddy is not home, daddy could be at home, and there can still be some dynamics there. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so we're going to talk about, again, my name is Dr. Kerry Neal. I'm the host and moderator for Urban Birds and Bees. And it's an absolute pleasure. I mean, you guys look so beautiful. Give yourself another big round of applause. I mean, it's like, wow, you guys are stunning. You're amazing. And we got the bros represented too. I love this, right? So anyway, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and dive in. Now, we couldn't possibly have this discussion without the one and only Tracci Johnson in the house. Give Tracci Johnson a big round of applause. Now, dare I need to read her bio because we all know who she is.
No.
World famous celebrity hairstylist. So let me just read a little bit about who she is, right? Okay, she's an author of this amazing book called Dangerous Mistrust. It's right there in the back that's being sold. I had a chance to read it. It will transform your life. Have you looking at your relationship with God and how you deal with your stuff in a very radically different way. So, shameless plug for her.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. She's a celebrity hairstylist, as I mentioned before, a transformational coach as well, a salon owner, a ministry student, and the voice behind the Daddyless Daughters movement. Okay. For over 30 years, she's been creating magic with her hands and pouring healing from the heart. She is known in the beauty industry as the original Pixie Queen, the Pixie Queen. She's you guys know what the Pixie Queen is? What that's all about? Okay, y'all know. Okay. Well, this is her right here, live here in Culver City. Here she is, right here on stage. Okay, a master of precision cuts, and was the proud owner of the legendary. You guys remember the Eclipse Salon right above Georgia from back in the day? Yeah, it was legendary. But no, you have right now Legacy by Tracci, right there on Melrose, right?
Both of them on Melrose.
Yeah. Now, I'm just gonna drop a few names. We don't really drop names typically on Urban Birds and Bees, but we're gonna do that today, right? We're gonna drop just a small smidget of her client list. Okay, everyone from Nia Long, Wendy Raquel Robinson, Kelly Williams, Babyface, Simone Smith, who is LL Cool J's wife, right? Mickey Howard, Cicely Tyson, Lynn Whitfield, Tisha Campbell, Keisha Cole, Natalie Cole, Brandy, Jada Pinkett Smith, Tashina Arnold. Yeah, she got some kind of thing going on social media right now. She was dating this white guy that she didn't want nobody to know about, but that's another podcast. I digress. Nicole Murphy, just to name a few. Big round of applause for Tracci Johnson. Trace, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good to hear.
Now, Tracci wouldn't exist if it was not for this other person that's here on the stage. Now, we are so freaking honored to have the one and only Brenda Taylor in our midst. Give a big round of applause. I mean, is this stage like oozing with beauty or what? This is crazy. Oh my God. And and let me say this, I got her permission prior to even asking this question, so I think I can say that. So, Brenda Taylor, beautiful lady, tell the audience how old you are.
I'm almost 82.
Stop the camera, stop it. That can't be true.
My birthday is March the 7th. I'll be 82.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And so we're about to dive into a very thoughtful discussion regarding generational daddy issues. So let me just kind of read for you, just to kind of set the tone. Okay, this episode moves beyond the personal narrative and into intergenerational trauma, emotional inheritance, and healing legacy by featuring both daughter and mother in the same conversation. We got them on the stage, the same conversation. Talk. I don't think this has ever been done in the history of podcasters discussions. I think you are right now in the midst of a groundbreaking moment that's ever been done in world history.
All right.
First ever done. First ever done.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We got it.
As far as we know, in our world.
Right. Okay, by featuring both the daughter and mother in the same conversation, the show uniquely exposes how unresolved father wounds are transferred, not necessarily genetically, but emotionally, behaviorally, what you saw growing up and start to repeat the same cycle, and relationally across decades, okay? This is not simply a relationship episode. It is a sociological, psychological, and spiritual excavation of how women learn to love, trust, self-protect, and survive when the man in their life was physically absent or emotionally unavailable. That's really deep. Now, we also have the incredible Donald Bell that's here. Now, we're going to introduce him a little bit later. He's going to join us on stage in just a little bit. And he has this, I remember on my previous podcast some years ago, we were talking about father hunger. So we commonly call it more colloquially as daddy's issues, but more, I guess more form is known as father hunger. Very interesting. I mean, just the concept, father hunger.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
It is very deep.
But we're going to go ahead and get started with this conversation. I'm going to start with Brenda. Mom, how you doing?
I'm doing great. And how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And you look absolutely stunning and extravagant and splendid with that amazing outfit you have.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about, this segment is going to be called The Original Wound, okay? All right. Okay, so the objective here is to establish a historical context for father absence, okay? Physically or emotionally, all right? Okay, so the question here is that, at what moment did you realize that your father was emotionally unavailable, and how did that change how you viewed men? And if you want to take that from however you want to.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. I love it.
I got you.
Okay.
That's my mom.
I had a mother and a father in the home the whole time, from the time I was born until I went off to college. My father went to work. My mother stayed home most of the time when I was younger. And my mother cooked dinner every day, same time, just looked like a normal family. And my parents were very nice looking people. They were drop dead gorgeous, actually. And every time they went out, people would say, oh, you just always make a fuss over them. And it looked like we were just the perfect family because I was the only child. And up until I was a teenager, they adopted my cousin, but I was the only child. And everything looked good, but it was the most toxic home that you can ever imagine. And I want to start when I was 4 years old because it's my earliest memory, and it also set the tone for the rest of my life. When I was 4 years old, we lived in a duplex in a studio apartment. And my parents used to send me outside a lot and lock me out. I didn't understand then, but what was happening, my father would knock my mother around, and then they'd have makeup sex, so they'd lock me outside. And one day, I was outside trying to get away from this 12-year-old boy who lived next door, who was always following me around. And he was saying things to me. I really didn't understand what he was saying, but I knew something was wrong with it. And instinctively, I knew, I don't know how I knew not to tell my parents that this boy was saying stuff to me. And so one day, the boy exposed himself to me. And just when he did, his sister came around the corner. And she says, oh, I'm going to tell on you. She told me, I'm going to tell on you. And if you don't bring me some cookies, I'm going to tell on you. I didn't even understand what she was talking about. What did I do? And I had never seen a penis before. I hadn't even seen a penis on a baby. So I didn't know. I was like in this state of confusion. And she kept saying, I'm going to tell on you. I'm going to tell on you if you don't bring me some cookies. Well, we didn't have no cookies. That day we didn't have cookies. So I didn't know I didn't know what to do. The next day, I came in from outside and walked in the little room. There wasn't much room in there. And my father took off this big old thick leather belt, and he just started beating me. Just beating me. He didn't say why he was beating me. He didn't
just out of nowhere, just
start beating me and cussing and beating me. And my mother was just standing there. And there was nowhere to go, because it was a small, confined area. I was trying to get between the headboard of the bed and the wall, and I was trying to go up under the bed, and I was leaping over the bed with a single bound, trying to get away. And he beat me and beat me. And at one point, the belt buckle came loose from his hand, and he just kept beating me. And that belt buckle was wrapping around my face and hit me on my head. Wow. And my mother just stood there. I tried to hide behind my mother. And I was the state of confusion. I had no idea why this was happening. I had no idea. It wasn't until later that day when the kids were, the girl and her brother were laughing at me, that I understand. The girl told my father something. I don't know what she told him. But he beat me, and after it was over, he put his belt back on and he pulled his pants up, because he was an arrogant little thing, and he was walking around like he had just solved world hunger or something, like he had done something great. And
you were 4 years old?
I was 4 years old. My mother, then eventually he walked out. He went out, because he would always cause trouble and then go out and stay out all night, because he chased women and stuff like that. But my mother, even my mother, she didn't say anything. She put a cold presses on me. We didn't have any ice that day. You know, I had to buy block ice. We didn't have ice. And my mother didn't say a word to me. And I was just so confused, so confused. That day, it felt like I was baptized in shame. Because that feeling that I had that day, it lasted me all the way up until I was probably 60 years old. That sense of shame, like I did something wrong. And my mother never talked to me. She never said, well, baby, you should have told us, or this. She said nothing until 64 years later, my mother called me long distance. And she said, do you remember that day when you was 4 years old? I said, yeah, like it was yesterday. I sure do. And she said, well, I just want to apologize to you. She said, I let him beat you, and I should have said something. And I just stood there. And it took everything in me to say, what about all the other times that you didn't say anything? What about my whole childhood you didn't say anything about all the stuff he did to me? What about that? And good thing I was saved. And I caught myself, and I told her, I forgive you. But I really didn't mean it. I'm going to tell the truth. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it until later. I forgave her later, but I didn't mean it that day. But anyway, that set up something in me. It was a shame. I can't even describe it, but I was uncomfortable in my skin. I learned that day that home was the most unsafe place in the whole world for me. I felt so uncomfortable in the home. I felt like I was an imposition, Because my father would tell me things like, you shouldn't have never been born. And if you had to be born, you should have been a boy because you're weak and you're good for nothing. And I would jump through hoops trying to make him say something positive. Then I found out when I was about 35, he was actually bragging on me to other people, but he never said anything to me. He just did everything he could to mess my life up, like on purpose, like he was trying to break me. And I can honestly say before God and all these witnesses, I don't have one happy childhood memory. Not one. Only child. I'm supposed to have a whole bunch of them. You know, I don't have one because he messed up every single solitary thing. He beat my mother up on the night before Christmas, so she'd be in there with a steak on her eye on Christmas Day. Then he chased women all day, and we wouldn't see him no more for a couple of days. That sort of thing. And what he did to me, I'm going to your second part of your questions, and I'm going to shut up. The second part about how it impacted me with men. Let me just give you this. I'll just give you this one scenario. In high school, I was voted the best dressed girl in my class when I graduated. Because that's the one thing my parents did. They dressed me. And you would think that would make me feel good. I was the most uncomfortable in my skin person you ever wanted to see. I just felt shame all the time, like somebody's gonna find out about me. Somebody's gonna find out how I get treated. Somebody's gonna find out that my father beats my mother up all the time. Somebody's gonna find, and I was always uncomfortable. I dated the two most popular boys in the school, and I was so uncomfortable with them. They take me out, I was like, I couldn't talk, I couldn't say, I couldn't express myself, I couldn't do any, I'd be dressed to, I'd be the best dressed thing in the whole place. And I was just like, so scared somebody's gonna talk to me or say something to me and I'm gonna sound stupid or what. It was horrible. So as I got older, I would gravitate to men that I placed no value on at all. And that's who I'd hang out with. Somebody I wasn't gonna introduce to none of my friends. Somebody I wasn't going to take anywhere. I was just going to go and talk to them because I was bored. And that's the kind of people I married. The people that I hadn't placed no value on. A man that I placed value on, like the two boyfriends that I went with in high school, I was so uncomfortable with them. I couldn't even be myself. I couldn't even I couldn't even talk right.
So can I ask,
yes.
So was, in terms of, you mentioned that man that you hung out with, no value. So was this Tracy's father?
He was one of them. He was one of them. He was one of them. Tracy's father reminded me of my father. His arrogance reminded me of my father, and I never liked him at all. The honest God truth, that's your daddy, baby. But I never liked him. I never liked him at all. I never liked him at all.
So wait a minute. So if you remind of just
go ahead.
Just, okay. So obviously you didn't have good memories of your dad.
Oh Lord,
and
no.
Tracy's dad reminded you of your dad.
Familiarity.
Familiarity.
It was familiar to me. Mm-hmm. It was a familiar thing to me. That's all I knew.
I'm sure you'll break that down later, Donald. So
yeah,
we'll get to that. Yeah.
You taking notes, right, Donald?
Got the iPad out.
Right. Wow, that's interesting. You know, but before we move to Tracy, what did you observe raising Tracy that you began to see, if anything at all, mm-hmm. that you went through, but you saw something manifest in her?
Tracy, what I saw in Tracy's father wasn't in the home, but he'd come around just enough to tell her a bunch of stuff he was going to do and disappoint her. Ooh. And that used to just infuriate me because he'd do that. And I never bad mouthed him. I never talked about him. I would try to soften the blow, like, good morning. We live in an apartment. How you gonna have a horse? How's your daddy gonna buy your horse? I would just kind of point that out. We live in an apartment, baby. Where the horse go stay? It's no room in your room, baby, for the horse. I would say things like that, but I never just said your father is a bald-faced liar.
Okay, so one of the things that that's in Tracci's book, which is quite moving, that I think about right now, like you tell more of the story, but my own synopsis is, so Tracci's dad, I guess, had to start another family. I guess they got divorced, but he had his own family, and sort of bragged about giving them gifts.
No, it was his girlfriend.
Girlfriend,
And,
yeah.
and their kids, and her kids.
Right, and
About 5 different people.
No, stop.
And anyway, so what happened was, Tracci said, as a little girl, and this is quite a moving though, I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's actually kind of moving. She said, well, where's my gift? And it seemed like your dad was part of, and so you know how a lot of times we'll create something on the fly.
A horse.
We forgot. So he said, I'm gonna bring you a horse. So while you clearly knew, and like she talked about, said we live in an apartment, we don't have like a ranch, it's just not some equestrian dynamic going over here.
Right. We can't even afford to store the doggone horse.
But what was powerful in the book, and you got to read the story in her book, how she, for days, weeks, just was sitting on the couch, looking out the window, waiting for her daddy to bring the horse.
Yes.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
And nobody could tell her differently.
Yeah.
Her friends were laughing at her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was telling her friends, my dad's bringing me a horse.
And everybody was like, a horse? Like, where you going with a horse?
So I want you to talk about that, but then I want you to answer this, if you don't mind. So what emotional patterns, and because now you're sort of an expert on this issue, so I know you can dissect even more so. But I'm curious, what emotional patterns did you ultimately understand that you unknowingly inherit from your mother?
Well, I think probably one of the most obvious would be that I inherited independence, like really serious independence. Like I couldn't rely on anybody. I got that from my mom. Like my mom was, like just being, growing up in a single household with her. My mother was the mother, the father. Of course, she was all of those things. Mm-hmm. Her strength, and it wasn't real strength though. It was survival.
Yeah.
And that's what I realized that was about me. That's what I learned about myself as well.
Sure.
Is that I lived in survival mode my entire life, and just protecting myself, looking out for myself, because I don't even know what it feels like to lean on anyone.
Give me an example of that. Give some
Not
examples
a
of this.
male figure.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like I have friends who have fathers, and they always it was some like it always seemed like they had this unspoken cushion that they could always fall on at some point,
Yeah.
right?
Good analogy.
And for me, that didn't exist. So I was just hyper independent my whole life. Like I had to become a success.
So how did you compensate being a success, and what other ways did you sort of compensate for that cushion? Which is, I think, an extraordinary analogy or example to sort of characterize the deficit.
Well, I will say that in relationships, I was always, and just like my mom, I took that from her. I would never be in a relationship with anyone who could disappoint me. Like, if you could disappoint me, I can't be with you. If I'm going to be invested in you emotionally, I cannot be with you. I have to only be with someone who, if we break up, if you disappoint me, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, I'm not going to be hurt. Those are the only kind of people that I used to date. I mean, this was years ago, but that was something that I unknowingly inherited.
You know what? That's freaking extraordinary to me. I don't know about you guys. You mean you actually selected men
Yes.
that would essentially just fill in the blank if they did something crazy or whatever the case may be.
X
That's
to the
okay.
next. That would be me. X to the next. I got that from my mother. X to the next. Anybody who knows me, my friends, they can tell you, they've been around long enough to know my history. Like believe me, I've grown. They
Yeah.
see me grow.
Sure.
They see me grow over the years.
Yeah.
And so, but they've been around for a number of years, 20, 30 years, however long it's been. But that used to be my life. Yeah, and I didn't even realize it for so long. I had no idea. And I think that was the last situation that I came out of, and I really started to really pay attention to my patterns. And I had an epiphany one day, and I said, you know, Trace, this is like something that is not right. Because first of all, I was never fulfilled in any relationship. And I always longed, I mean, I'm a diehard romantic. So for me to be a diehard romantic, but never got into a relationship with somebody I actually really liked, like loved, you know, it's really kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
And counterproductive, of course. So I had to like really pay attention to my patterns, and then I started to really do the work, the inner work. And that has been, of course, a journey, but it's something, and I think that really my healing really started, my real healing started about 5 years ago.
Okay, that's all. You know, it was interesting. Again, we're talking about generational daddy issues here on Urban Birds and Bees. It was interesting. I saw this social media post, and there was this young lady who had just seen her therapist, and she talked about how her therapist articulated to her what she and what most people do when they date. So a lot of people aren't really dating; they're in patterns.
Yep.
They're following the pattern and the actual footsteps, like you did following your mom.
Yep.
That was it. I thought that was that sort of blew me away, but it made sense.
Yeah.
That you're not just really. It's just a different person, different name, same pattern.
Yep.
This.
Yeah.
Another name. This. Different name. This. Pretty interesting. Now, you two obviously are very close.
Yeah.
And I'm certain in terms of the dating opportunities, or if people may be interested, you guys probably have conversations and things that, how would those conversations go prior to, and now you guys are at a much more elevated place, right? So I'm curious, how did you talk about, I mean, I assume you didn't say, you know, I met this guy named Joe, he's a bum, but I'm gonna date him anyway. And you said, okay, makes sense. So how did you guys?
They wouldn't be bums now.
I mean, just whatever.
Bum. I just said I didn't really like them that much.
I mean, like an emotional bum, whatever the case may be. Look.
No, they weren't bums.
No, they weren't bums, but they weren't anybody that it was just they were safe. They were safe, right? You know, they were safe. And it was really no emotional connection. And it's the craziest thing, because I am an emotional being, like for real. Like I'm so emotional, right?
Yeah.
And I crave connection, like over anything.
Yeah.
And I lived my life in that pattern for so long, but I was so unfulfilled, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, what was your question? I was just trying to like.
Well, you're sort of answering it. It's fine. So, well, the ultimate question was, like, what did that discourse look like between you two prior to this epiphany, so to speak, and looking back, understanding that, wow, we were doing this. We were in a pattern.
My mama. If y'all gonna laugh, let me just, mama, be quiet, because let me just tell you. So we
grew up together.
We grew up together.
That's what it was.
Okay. We're daydreamers. We've gotten a hold of our daydreams though now. We've matured. We've matured together.
Okay.
Okay.
Please tell us about that journey of maturity. This is interesting.
I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
I think I started it actually.
Okay.
My mom came behind me. I'm sorry. No, but I think it was because I was dating, and because I was dating, and my mom really wasn't dating. I was learning a lot, and so in that evolution, I was, you know, of course, we talked about everything. So, so she was like, "Oh yeah, okay." So she kind of learned it from me, and then I'm in therapy and all that stuff. So I'm like coming home telling her, you know, what I'm learning and stuff. So she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So that's how kind of that's kind of how we grew, whatever. So, but anyway, my mom is like, when we were just my whole dating, it's a comedy. I mean, no, I'm gonna tell you, it is a sitcom. Okay, we talked about everything. My mother, she back in the day, her advice was really not that great because we were too empathetic. We were too like allowed too much. You know, we made excuses too much, and you know, we were trying to fix and repair and do all the things. You know,
We were super people.
we were superheroes.
I see your capes.
Yeah, we had capes. Oh yeah, we had capes. So that you know, I'm sure Donald he'll know how to like connect those, right? You know, and figure out how that came from.
Donald was salivating. He said, "I can't wait to get up on stage."
But yeah, so that's kind of yeah, we had, but this is the thing, we were trying to figure out the standard.
Yeah.
When you don't have an example, when you've never seen anything healthy,
Right.
you don't know what a real man is supposed to look like.
Right.
You don't know how he's supposed to show up or present himself. You don't know any of that. All we had was toxic male role models. Okay. So with that, we had no clue. So we were going to just take this toxic person, we're going to fix him and make him, you know,
Yeah.
make him right, you know.
Yeah.
We had
So
faith in him.
we used to just have faith in. Oh my goodness, we just gonna love this person until they just become everything that we want them to be, and that was part of.
Okay, so
But let me just tell you.
Okay.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
That was because we did not know our value, and we were trying to become valuable to somebody. So that was the reason why we did that.
We got over it though.
That was the undercurrent to why we did those things, because we wanted to. And that was my other relationships too. It was, how can I be valuable? You have to need me in order for me to be valuable in your life.
Yeah.
So I would choose people that would actually need me in some capacity.
Yeah.
I become whatever you want me to be. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be your therapist, your dresser, your whatever. I'm gonna be all of that because that's how I'm going to receive my value.
There's this theory called the halo effect. You guys ever heard the halo effect? What that is? The halo effect? So the halo effect is based upon the way you look, because you're attractive. In some cases, in the Black community, if you're light skinned, they make these assumptions about you
right.
just because you're attractive.
Right.
That you're beautiful, so everything else must be popping in your
Yes.
life,
Right, right,
Everything
right.
else, you don't have any issues and things like that. Yeah. And so, so what's interesting, you know, I look at Tracci and her mom, obviously very aesthetically beautiful women, right? And not to mention that you're both, I mean, you guys have amazing relationship with God. Very close, very strong believers and things of that nature. And sounds like you, Mom, you became a Christian early on as a little girl. Is that correct? When did you
Actually, no, when I was 21.
21. Okay, so but at some point you became a Christian, and Tracci would talk about how she's learned at your footstool many times.
Tracci became a Christian at 8 years old.
Yeah.
8 years old, yeah. So there you go. So considering the impact of understanding how, you know, the Bible says, if any man be in Christ, he's a new creation.
Right,
and
right.
we learn to progressively grow in Christ. And then God says that we are his masterpiece.
Right, of course.
And things of that nature. So, and you guys know this very well, but you just talked about this whole idea of not really knowing your value and how it expressed itself.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile those two? How did you sort of deal? Was that something you just said, well, okay, in the church, I know that I'm an heir and joint heir with Christ.
Right.
But I come outside the church, you know,
I'm a
I
nobody.
need to try to find out if somebody will accept me, et cetera, et cetera. How did you manage
Well,
that?
let me just say this. First and foremost, you got to remember that when you have issues with your earthly father, you're going to have issues with your heavenly father as well. So the way that I saw God is the way that I saw my earthly father, as someone who would disappoint me, who really didn't value me, who I would have to earn his love. I have to show up a certain way in order for him to love me. And so that was the way that I viewed God. I viewed him as a dictator. You know, I viewed him as someone who was far away from me. And, you know, he wasn't my father. I didn't even know what that felt like.
I viewed him as this big ogre up in the sky with a big fly swatter just waiting to smash me when I got it right.
And so,
And I fought that. I had to fight that off.
yeah, so, but then as time,
You guys ever had any visions of God like that when you were growing up as well?
so as time went on, and I developed a more intimate relationship with him, and then, you know, just really asking him to show himself to me. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. God actually started to pursue me, and he wanted me to know him in that way.
Sure.
So he sought to pursue me, and I remember when that started to happen, when I started to feel the shift, and so. And now I see him in a different light, of course, but back then, that's how I used to see him. So that's how it, you know, it affected me, you know. So I really I couldn't put the two together. It was like a compartmentalized thing. My Christianity is over here, my self-worth is over here. You know, it wasn't, and I never was able to mesh them together until now.
Yeah.
Now I can see that I'm a chosen vessel, and I'm God's daughter, and that he loves me, and he's concerned about every aspect of my life, and you know, all of that. Now I can see that now, but then I really felt like an orphan, you know, with God. I didn't feel special to him.
Yeah.
I used to, the reason Tracy was so smart by 8 years old, because she had a mama for a teacher.
Yeah, I did.
I taught her, and I'd move up with her in Sunday school.
Yeah.
So make sure she learned good. But what I was going to say is, over the years, I've been a Sunday school teacher and teaching in a lot of different capacities in the church.
Sure.
And I taught a lot of young people, and the young people who think they're my kids even today.
Right.
But what I was going to say is, I compartmentalized everything that pertained to teaching. I could teach these young people, and these young people would accept Christ and live for the Lord and still living for the Lord. And I could just make it so plain and so deep and so everything. Then I'd go home and cry myself to sleep, because I was so miserably depressed all the time. Then I get up the next Sunday, go do it all over again, go home, and I just be I was suicidal. I was teaching Bible studies to, several different places in the church, not just Sunday school, and I was suicidal. It was like the devil was riding on my shoulder, talking about just drive in front of this truck. Go, just drive off the bridge. I go across the Bay Bridge, I'd be almost scared for fear I'm gonna do something crazy. That sort of thing. So I suffered a lot of years, about 15 years, just going crazy. And I was so depressed. I was weighing 300 pounds. Probably was over 300 pounds at one point. I was literally trying to eat myself into oblivious. And I was so unhappy, but I was still doing ministry.
And leadership in the church and everything.
I was doing ministry. I was
always. We were always involved in all the ministries. You know, always growing up. That was just our lives. You know, so yeah.
One day, I'm going to say this one thing.
Yeah.
One day, I was so depressed. At least twice a month, because I was a teacher. At least twice a month, I stayed home because I'd be so depressed. And I remember one time I was so depressed that I thought, I can't do this. And I was hospitalized 3 times in psych ward for depression, because suicidal and the whole thing. The doctor would just look at me and take my hand and take me to the hospital. my medical doctor one time, I went to see him, and I was trying to tell him I was okay, and I started leaving the office, and I just broke down, and I was on the floor at the doctor's office just wailing. He just came and got me to the hospital because I was so depressed. And one day I was home after I'd taken off from work, one of my depression days. And I was so depressed, and I told the Lord, I said, if I keep living like this, I'd rather be dead. Just let me die. And I got up, and I used to stay in the bed all day till it's time for the kids to come home. Then I put myself together and looked like I was okay. When the kids came home, how was school? They didn't even know. They didn't even know. But this particular day, I went down the hall, and I came back, and I never forget it. I felt God hold me. I felt his arms go around me. I felt him hold me. And that started to break down the pain and the hopelessness, because I knew that he heard me. I knew that he heard me. And that meant because he don't have to do that for everybody, but I needed that so much. And that's what started to turn my life around. I felt him hold me, and I knew how real he was, and I knew how much he loved me. And that turned it all around, because I think I'd have killed myself if it wasn't for that. I don't even know how I could have survived another year with the depression I was feeling. It was just that bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to be cute.
Give her a big round of applause, please. Big round of applause.
Don't make me cry.
You know, I'm gonna bring up three things real quick. First of all, it has been said that the person that you need to check on is a person that don't seem like they need to be checked on. Yeah. We also want to make something very clear too, that people, we got church down pat. We can shout on beat. Yep. We know just what scripture to quote. Yeah. We know just how much money to give into the offering. We know just how much to fly below the radar of church scrutiny.
Yeah.
And a lot. They're telling you, these are biblical giants on the verge of suicide. That's hella deep to me. That's incredibly deep. At this, I'm gonna ask Donald Bell to come up to the stage, and we're gonna get more into this. First of all, give Tracci and her mom a big round of applause. The deception and this whole thing of having it all together is a farce.
And you can't tell nobody.
And you can't tell. And then two, with that being said, you comfortable here?
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
You can't tell nobody.
Because people will be looking at you like, you got your makeup on, you dressed all to the nines, and you depressed.
Yeah.
You know?
What you got to be depressed about?
It's like,
And you know, and we spent so much time talking about depression and the antics. Remember, this stemmed from their relationship with their father.
yes.
It didn't just come out anywhere. It came from their father, where one dad was in the home, one dad was not. In the home, not. In the home, not.
Yeah.
Very deep. I'm going to.
I think I got the better end of the stick.
Yeah. Yeah. Consider it.
I did.
Now, here's another person who doesn't really need any introduction. This is the one and only Donald Bell.
Before you go in,
Okay.
the edge of that chair is kind of close to the edge. So
Pull it up.
they need to
Yeah.
kind of pull it
Yeah,
in.
I'm going to church. Yeah. Yeah, we can edit it.
Is that better?
Because I already know the devil is mad and I ain't trying to give him an opening.
Yeah.
We're not trying to fall backwards.
So this is the one and only Donald Bell. Give a big round of applause. Big round of applause, Donald Bell. So he's a spiritual consultant, relationship expert, life coach, public speaker, and author, and the co-host. You guys got to get back on the two-piece podcast, you and Ron G. Yeah, that's, y'all
He's
like.
still recovering from having a child.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that kid's running life. So obviously, he's the former singles pastor at Faithful Central Bible Church. He's now the senior pastor at Covenant Blessing in nearby Wilmington, right? Wilmington, yeah. So, and I'll just say this for the record. Donald Bell, this is back in the mid 90s, had a Bible study that was like nationally known. Have you ever been to a we're talking about a big mega church, right? Where it was so crowded they had to seat people in the choir stands. Never seen anything like that in my life. Okay, big round of applause to Donald Bell. Oh, did I forget to mention that he went on Oprah Winfrey and Oprah said, "What did you just say?" That was interesting. So, Donald Bell, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
Good, good, good. This was pretty deep and pretty, I mean,
A lot to unpack.
lot to unpack there. So, and I know you've done, you're writing a book and some other writings and things like that. Give me your quick assessment of what you just heard before we lead into our questions.
Okay.
Please.
So I'm going to start by saying a lot of times when we look at issues, we look at it through different analogies and different symbols and different structures. And a lot of times, especially for relationships, we look at it through chemistry. Like, do you have the chemistry? So you talked about, I built chemistry with these type of men. But what chemistry can't do is move you from point A to point B. So what winds up happening, the patterns you're talking about. So if there's something wrong with the food, the chemist will try different ingredients. And they'll just keep trying different ingredients till your food's not food. Follow where I'm going. But if you're moving from point A, that's a whole different science. That's physics. And physics is about the art of being able to move something from one place to another. The problem for most of our relationships is we practice chemistry, and then we can't figure out why we can't get down the road. So you said 60. That never should have happened. That never should have happened. Somebody should have been able to look in your eyes at 4 and see that there was something going on. So what I'm saying is, a lot of times the issue is form and function. We don't have the right form to produce the right function. We just think we don't have the right ingredient. I need a new guy. I need a new woman. So let me try the new person. But if you are in pattern,
Yes.
and you're doing the same thing, then you're going to replicate those patterns. So I wish I had something I could draw with. I'd show you how that looks.
Next
But-
podcast, next podcast.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know where I'm going with
We
it.
talk about mama drama. That's what
Yeah. So really what we're talking about is structure. Here's the thing. If you put a traumatized man in a home, you will get the same results all the time. And what do I mean by traumatized? We're all traumatized. But there's 2 ways we manage it. Some try to bury the trauma, some learn to carry the trauma. The notion that you're going to get healed is fallacy. What happened to you at 4 that you just recounted like you were still 4
Yeah.
does not go away.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't.
Here's where the physics comes in. Physics is about learning to carry it
Yep.
without feeling the full weight of it.
Exactly. Yep.
So you have to learn how to carry your trauma. When you put a man in a house who's buried his trauma, he can't carry the house.
That's good.
Hear what I'm saying? He can't carry the house.
Yep.
And what he will do, and these are his strategies, same man when I hit one, dead. Coast, which means he's reactive. So he's just doing his thing till something happens and he reacts.
Yep.
Boast, which means he's all about performance.
Yep. Yep.
All about performance. And so when he goes ghost, that's the withdrawal. Coast, boast, ghost, and I'm looking at my notes. Coast, boast, and host. That's the rescuer. That's the one jumping out of airplanes in the middle of the night into cold water, swimming 5 miles, going through the jungle to rescue you, only to find out when he gets to you, you've bonded with your captors. So he only has those tools. That's what I want you to see. So until he learned how to carry his trauma, he only had 4 moves. And all of it was reactionary. And that's what you have to understand. It's not personal. Now, I'm gonna go back to what the dynamic is really happening. What's really happening here? I'm traumatized. I don't know how to carry my trauma, so I bury it. And every time you do something, it's digging it up. And I'm seeing my trauma. And I'm feeling my trauma. And that shame, that was his shame. Okay, so if he's carrying shame, why would he shame me? Because you can tell me how uncomfortable shame is. You said it. I was not comfortable in my own skin. I'll give you the solution to that. Put it in somebody else's skin. Then I don't have to be uncomfortable in my own skin. So his beatings was a shame exchange.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Hear what I'm saying? His beatings was a shame exchange.
That's deep.
Because now I can be disgusted outside of myself.
Oh, that's deep.
That's deep.
That's it.
I'm not disgusted with me anymore because look at you.
That's deep.
That's where all that energy is coming from. So again, we talk patterns. I'm talking to the ladies now. I know there's some brothers here, but I'm really talking to the ladies. A man who will abuse you and shame you like that will circle back around when you start to heal. Because he won't see his shame anymore. Because you're healing from his shame. And so you're attractive again. But then you get up on him and the shame starts to rise. I need to put the shame back on you.
Transferring energy.
Is anybody hearing what I'm saying?
Lord Jesus, that's deep stuff.
So even when he says, I want you back, he does. But he can't handle you being back. Because he still has buried his shame. And if his shame is buried, he will transfer it onto you through his behavior. And the goal is to make you become the disgusting thing so I don't have to live with my disgust of myself.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's something.
Give Don a big round of applause for that.
That was good. That was deep.
Okay, I want to also go into some foundational stuff that we kind of talk about a lot, that just very fundamental. 'Cause I think that we all can see ourselves in this. And then I want to get to some solutions. And some of you may have seen yourself up here in some of this discussion. And if you're bold enough, we would love for you to come to the mic and ask a question, give some thoughts, and things of that nature. So this whole idea of, fundamentally speaking, of market value, appraised value, and intrinsic value.
Yeah.
Talk about that as it pertains to this.
Okay. In our culture, a man is introduced to his market value the first time he cries. First time he shows emotion, he gets immediately introduced to his market value. And the first thing he's told is, stop being a punk, stop being this, sit up, stop that, shut that down. And it's locking him in to performance. So he knows to be in the marketplace of getting affection, getting my needs met, I need to perform. And I can't look weak. So he's introduced immediately to his market value. So let's go back to 4-year-old. So 4-year-old male is introduced to his market value. But we introduce women to their appraised value, especially now.
Yeah.
We tell our girls we want to empower them. We want them to feel good about themselves. And since I would say late 70s, we have really been oriented about empowerment of our girls, getting them to feel good about themselves, discovering their worth. The only problem with that is to know my worth requires that I have some worth. Listen to what I just said.
Yeah.
You're asking me to believe in something that I don't believe in. So at some point, I'm going to have enough worth to say I have worth.
Yeah.
But the problem is that's an appraised value.
Yeah.
You get in the relationship with the traumatized man, and he is living in market value. So he's looking at your worth relative to all the stuff of what do you bring to the table.
Right.
Right.
And he's performance driven. So he's with you as long as the performance works.
Right.
When the performance doesn't work, now you're devastated because he didn't come nowhere near what your appraised value is.
Right.
We've missed what God did in Genesis, which was to create us in his image
Right.
and his likeness. And that's intrinsic value.
Yes.
Meaning it does not rise, it does not fall, it does not fluctuate.
Yeah.
Appraised value rises and falls. Market value rises and falls. So you're on the roller coaster at the beginning of the relationship and it's going up and you're getting all this appraised value and market value and it's all good till we hit the wall, and then we begin to ride the up and down from day to day of are you worth me being with, and we get all these high valued men things and all this other kind of just craziness. What we've removed is our humanity. So what we have to restore for all of this healing is regard. And when I say regard, I'm not talking about respect, because respect is performance driven. I respect you because of. When I'm talking about regard, I'm talking about your humanity and your dignity. That has to be a settled thing. And I'm going to say this now talking to the men. That has to be a settled thing in you before you ever get with a woman. Because you will be bringing a knife to a girl fight when you bring your ego. And you will lose every time. Your ego has to be settled so there is no conversation where we're talking about my value as man. Because that's a settled issue I worked out with God and me. So that I'm able to show up with you. But if I bring it there and I put it in your hands and you reject me, you had one shot. And I will take it out on every woman after you. And that's how these patterns get set up. And that's
Can
where
you guys
hostility-
relate to this we just said? Yes. That's pretty deep, right?
Very.
So let me say this.
Go.
So when a couple comes to me, and I've counseled thousands, literally. When they come to me, I don't see a crime. I see a conspiracy. I see the dynamics between them. So when you said, I'm choosing guys I'm not that invested in that I can't disappoint, he's choosing somebody he has to pursue. See the dynamic. We're both getting what we want. Because a man who wants to love you and be with you knows you're not present. Listen to what I said. He knows you're not there. And he's not chasing. So you've eliminated the guy who can walk with you through your healing because of the system you've set up. And so the only person I can partner with is somebody who's willing to live in my conspiracy.
Form
Wow.
follows function.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Woo.
Deep stuff there.
Okay, so I had to take a moment.
That was good.
Okay, so one of the things I think was great, and then we want to give you guys an opportunity to say something or come to the mic or whatever else, is the fact that, you know, these two amazing women right here have, you know, they are very articulate. And one thing I would say just too, before I say what I'm going to say, is to the degree that Brenda Taylor, mom here, talked about what happened to us, it's like it happened yesterday.
Right.
You could feel it. And she's on the precipice of being 82 years old.
Yeah.
And you know, we had like a pre-meeting before we do any podcast. We kind of get together and talk about what we're going to talk about, how we're going to do things. And we said jokingly, we should start the podcast now because they were very authentic in what they were saying. But one of the things I thought was interesting was how you talked about that even though you understand some of the patterns and things of that nature and you've gone through your healing, that it's still a struggle. That you still grapple occasionally with understanding, leaning to your intrinsic value and not your market value or your praise value. I think praise
Your
value
praise
for
value,
women
yeah.
and things of that nature. Could you talk about how, and you guys can chime in as well, but I want to start with Donald. How do you navigate that? So now that we know, so now we've heard these brilliant gems you've dropped, you know, you come into this more healing
Now I'm
place.
going after the church.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, now I'm going after the church.
Do-
Okay, so that's the family system. The church is supposed to be the surrogate system that heals that. But if you have leaders who are as traumatized as the house you came out of, again, it's not if, it's how. You're going to replicate the same dynamics. It's why a pastor has to learn how to carry his trauma so that it does not affect or limits the effect it has on the church. And so let's start with a core thing you said. I want to pick up on it. There's a term that I've come up with out of a pattern I've noticed. People who are super spiritually effective, but they're trauma carnal.
Trauma karma.
That's
Trauma
good.
carnal.
That's good.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And here's what I mean. They know all the principles,
Yep.
and they can teach you the principles. But because of their trauma, they've retained strategies
Yes.
for being in crazy.
Right. Staying in crazy.
So crazy is familiar.
Yeah.
And what it's tied to is what I call felt beliefs. Felt beliefs are the things you hold on and believe because you feel them so strongly they will not respond to reason. So when you get traumatized at 4 and you said it, no adult comes in and says, let me tell you, none of that is about you.
Right.
That's your dad's shame, and he's trying to transfer it onto you. You don't get the counsel, adult counsel. So what happens? I don't even have reasoning at 4,
Right.
Yep.
but I have this pain. This pain lives in me till I develop reasoning. You would think the reasoning would come in and say, okay, that's not you, that's not on you. What the reasoning comes in and does is it secures the story. So it only creates a story that makes sense of what I've been living with emotionally the whole time.
Right.
So where we would think the reason would come in and start challenging the story. No, it comes in and it says, I got you. Yeah, you ain't about nothing. Here's the reasons why. I now have a list. You have to be intentional. So when you use the term work, that's the work.
Yeah.
I got to go back into my story and I got to start doing some editing and I got to be intentional and I got to start questioning what I assumed my whole life, and I got to understand the conspiratorial nature
Yep.
of the people in my life. At some point, I can guarantee you, the more you heal, the smaller your circle got.
Yes, it has. Very much so.
And what are you getting rid of are the people who don't want to transform with the new story.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
This is where I'm at now. Can't be rehearsing that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You lost clients.
Yep.
Because there's just people you don't want to sit there, make them look beautiful, and have that ugly conversation the whole time.
Yeah.
And you start to see it. You start to become aware.
Keenly aware of everything. I think I'm hyper aware. You know.
But that's how the pendulum
No.
works. The
Yes.
pendulum swings back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
You can't unsee it. Yeah.
You can't unsee it. Once you start connecting those dots,
I'm going to tell you the transition from the pattern, because I was very intentional about coming out of my pattern.
Okay.
But I had to make some decisions. And the decisions were, first of all, even though I didn't have intrinsic value, I knew the standard. You know what I mean? Like it's like I knew the standard. And so I had to operate in the standard, even though it didn't come naturally.
you hadn't owned it yet.
Exactly. I hadn't known it yet. Yeah, exactly. So what happened was I decided. It was a decision that I made.
Can I lock in on that?
Yeah.
I know, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
If you look at my car, it says ABC teacher on the license plate. You would think I teach English. I don't. ABC stands for always be choosing. You have the life you've chosen. When people traumatize you, you start to feel like that happened to you. Nothing happens to you till you start telling the story of it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to lock in that chose.
Yeah, I had to make a decision because I didn't want I didn't want to continue in the pattern. And so I knew what I wanted my life to look like. And so, but I knew what it's going to take. And it wasn't going to be easy. It was going to expose me. I was going to feel like I was in danger most of the time because I was so used to protecting and surviving. And so the decision that I made caused me a great deal of pain, a great deal of I wouldn't say regrets, but pain, because I allowed myself to feel finally. And so because I allowed myself to feel, I've been feeling, you know what I mean?
You've been feeling.
I've been feeling, right? And so, I come from a place of authenticity now. Like it's totally different. My life is different. The way I see things is different. And so I don't cover anymore. Like I don't wear a mask anymore. I am who I am now, you know. And so I put myself out there purposely. Even when I wrote my book, it's so transparent.
Yeah.
And I used to just be I was so image driven. And I was you just had to, all you're going to see is this. You're not going to see me. You're just going to see this. But I decided that not only was this going to be together, but this was going to be together too. So that decision was the healing. It was the deciding factor from I'm not living in these patterns anymore. I'm going to become who I portray myself to be. I'm going to become that person. And so that is what my journey has been, is being authentic. And even if I hadn't caught up to the intrinsic part or just understanding,
Right.
but I knew the standard. So with that, I was chasing that. And so even in like my life now and even my dating, all that stuff is different. I don't date anyone that can't hurt me. Like if you can't hurt me, I don't even want no parts of you now. Like I have to be with someone that's a risk. And I don't mean in a bad way. I don't mean in an unhealthy way, but someone that I can actually connect to.
Right.
You know what I mean? For real connection.
You got to be in the game.
I have to be. That's the way it has to be, and
Yeah.
it can't be any other way because I deserve a connection.
Okay, really quick. So that's powerful, and I want to get to the audience too. But I want to go back to, because you're in a very powerful place right now. Amazing, powerful place. Wouldn't you guys agree from where she was and where she is now? Big round of applause for Tracci. But you may have said it, and if so, double down on it. How did you get to that point? How did you get to the point, I'm going to stop being stuck on this hamster wheel of trauma patterns in terms of dating? What led you to say, I need to make a change? Talk about that.
I was unfulfilled.
Okay.
I was unhappy. And I knew that I was the one standing in the way of my happiness, basically. I needed to become authentic. I didn't like being two people. You know, I didn't want to portray this image, and I really wasn't that person behind closed doors. I really wanted to be.
That's gotta be so tiresome.
It is. You have to keep
Oh,
up
it's
this
work.
image. It was too much work for me.
Yeah.
So now I am who I am. Like I am, what you see is what you get with me.
Yeah.
I am this person,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I'm proud to say that. Like I am not two people. Like you're not going to see one person over here and then somebody else over here. You're not. I'm going to, my friends can attest, my mama can attest. I am who I am. And so, and I'm honest with me. I'm honest with everyone, you know, and I'm accountable too. So I was just tired of that. I was tired of living that life, and I was tired of being unhappy.
Yeah.
And I knew that in order for me to really be happy, I had to be real. I had to be honest, and I had to be authentic, and across the board. And so with that comes the next level. You know, my standards changed. You know, just everything changed in my life.
Sure.
You know, so it just made me know what I wanted, and I was very honest about what it was that I wanted, and I knew that I couldn't stop until that happens.
So, Mom, so you talked about, first of all, that was fun. Big round of applause for Tracci. That was awesome. You talked about, again, just some of the preparation for this podcast. You said there was something that you did that really opened up the doors to allow you to really step into your healing. Could you share a little bit about that in terms of, you know, forgiving your parents, what you were talking about?
We were talking about the fact that you cannot heal if you're not willing to forgive.
Yeah.
You can just forget it.
Yes.
It just does not work. But it's difficult to just say, I'm going to forgive. It really, I mean, like how? How do you make yourself forgive? But I found that all it takes is to have the desire to want to do it. And God will give you, not only give you the will, but He'll enable you to do what it is He wants you to do.
Right.
Scripture tells you that. And so I got to the point where I recognized that I was just poison on the inside. I hated let me tell you, I hated my father. I was a Christian and I hated my father, okay? I just felt so betrayed, and I didn't respect my mother because I felt like my mother was weak. And, you know, a lot of times we repeat the pattern, like nobody was going to beat me. You like, you better not go to sleep. You did what?
I got that from her.
You better not, you stay up all night, because I'm in the kitchen boiling grease, okay? I did, I'm serious. I meant it. I really meant it. But I got to the point where I was just so consumed with bitterness, and I just look at my parents and I was just like, see, and that story about the beating, I got stories deeper than that. I got stuff way deeper than that. But I was just rotten on the inside. Just like the bitterness, it just got more and more bitter. And I just got to the point, I was self-destructing. I was destroying myself. Let me just tell you this. The reason I got up to 300 pounds, my mother lived vicariously through me. She dressed me because she wanted to just enjoy seeing me dressed. She didn't get a chance to do the things that she wanted me to do. So one day I came home and I was eating a milkshake. My mother was always about the weight. You're going to gain weight. And my mother kept on saying, if you drink this milkshake, you're going to gain weight. You're not going to be able to wear your clothes. Well, when I saw that bothered her, I want you to tell me how crazy I am now. When I saw that bothered her, I'd come home every day with a milkshake. I did. And my mother, oh, you gotta stop. And what she said that for, I'm gonna give me one in the middle of the day. And I started gaining weight, and my mother was just like, it was like panic mode. And I said to myself, I got you.
Right. Yeah,
I'm hurting you. I'm hurting you. I got up to 300 pounds. Everything on my body hurt. Mm-hmm. I was just a wreck. Yeah. I don't even know why I'm still alive. Right. I did so much damage to my body. But I said to myself, I got you. It hurt her.
But you was hurting.
It took me a long time to rig up. Fool, you hurt yourself.
Let me touch on that.
Yeah.
What Mom panicked about was, weight is the only thing I have control over in this house.
Ooh. Yeah. That sounds like a winner there.
It's the only thing I have control over in this house. You had her at levels you don't even understand. Because you took away the only thing in this house that gives me a sense of my humanity.
Okay. Well, I sure was enjoying it.
Control.
For a minute.
But again, that's why I'm pointing out how the system works. How the system works.
Yes.
She was looking for her area of control.
Right.
It was weight. She could control that. You were looking for your area of control. I'm gonna get heavy. You can't control that.
That is exactly how I felt. Like,
So watch how the dynamics in the system
and
work.
it's just sick.
Instead of, how much do I want to weigh? And just asking yourself the question. And living with your own vision of yourself.
Right.
We're still in reaction mode. So let me scare you a little more. If you moved away, like say your family was in the Midwest and the South, and you moved all the way out here to not be bothered by them, you're still in relationship with them. Because you put yourself in a place to be in reaction to them. You have to move out of the reaction to heal. I want you to understand that. To heal, you have to stop being reactive.
Yeah.
And you can't distance yourself. You literally grow through dealing with them. Yeah. You don't grow apart.
Yeah.
Because apart, I'm still in reaction. And that is what has to change. There's another thing you brought. You dropped gems.
All day.
There's another thing I want to point out. I talked about the whole idea of trauma carnal. I want to also say, for trauma carnality, it does not heal with principles. You cannot teach that away.
Right. That's true.
There's one thing, and one thing only. As a Christian, you have to shift from pursuing God through principles and pursuing his actual presence.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it right there.
That's it.
That's it.
Because the most
That's what
powerful
changed.
thing you said was, he showed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
He showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you look in scripture where God shows up, you don't need to teach nobody.
Yep.
You don't need to teach them nothing.
Yep.
I'm clear. In the book of Job, when God shows up, Job's response to God's presence was simply this: now I know.
Now I know.
I know. I heard with my ears. These are principles.
Yep.
But now I see with my eyes and I know with my heart because I'm experiencing you.
Exactly. Exactly.
This level of trauma, you can't teach your way out of it.
Nope.
It isn't until you develop, as you said, both of them said it. God pursued me.
Yep.
God pursued me down the hallway.
Yep.
God started to woo me.
Yep.
That was the shift.
That was the shit.
It went from living as a Christian by Christian principles to living in the presence of God.
That's it.
A supernatural shift.
That's what it happened.
That
That's
is the
exactly
only
what
thing
happened.
that fixes that. So I'm saying that because I don't want you to leave with the impression that your notes, your healing is any notes you took.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Until
exactly
you
what
can
happened.
tolerate the presence of God,
Yes.
you will not heal.
Yep.
Okay, so big round of
That's
applause.
good.
Yes.
That's good right there. That's it in a nutshell.
So we got about 15, 20 minutes left. Okay, so where was I? I think I was talking about the cookout.
Yeah.
So it's not just a place we throw like links and ribs on the grill, but it's also a place where we have authentic, real conversations, right? So welcome to the family cookout. And this is an opportunity for you. I mean, you have an incredible amount of seasoned expertise dealing with decades of trauma and how they overcome it. And then also we have the one and only incomparable, the icon among us, Donald Bell, and the gems that he just dropped, right? Maybe you have thoughts. I'm gonna go on a limb and say, you guys sell yourself up here.
Come on.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that some of you guys got daddy issues. It ain't just us up here. Okay. Hyper, give her a big round of applause first of all. Our first one.
My name is Lakina, and I've read Tracci's book and I've had conversations with Brenda. For me, for over 20 years, I was rejected by my son. So as of last year, God hugged me while I was in the hospital. And he said, you don't need validation for your son. But I want to say that I had certain standards about men that I had dated. And before I thought they would reject me, I would leave them alone. Because my son rejected me. And he still does, but it's not affecting me because God did this. And I know who I am in Christ. So now I'm able to pray for him. But I want to say I read Tracci's book and it was like she was writing about me. And I've seen Tracci just by looking at her. Her whole just persona is like, I'm healing, I'm growing. And it's very encouraging and inspiring. But what I'd like to ask you is like, I'm at a place now where I don't react to my son. There's a lot of silence. He's 45 years old, he's married. And Tracci asked me a question once, well, do you feel like you could be in a relationship? I'm like, no. God told me I'm not ready.
To be in a
To be
relationship?
To date.
Okay, all right.
Although I've dated men, I've been married and divorced. So I told Tracci, no, that cake isn't done yet. So I think I need to grow more. I need to know more and be more trusting of men. They're not always going to reject me because I don't give them a chance. They can get so far and I'm like, no, I can't take rejection. And I think I've carried that from my son over into my personal life. So the wall is, okay, don't date. But who am I hurting? I haven't grown completely yet. I haven't healed completely. So with prayer and knowing who I'm in Christ, that's good. But I want your advice on.
Yeah. You can drive on the 405 at 200 miles an hour every day for the next 10 years. You will not be a race car driver. Why am I saying that? Because the Indianapolis 500 is different. And there's nothing that can prepare you on the 405 for when they say, gentlemen and ladies, start your engines. And everybody there is doing 200 miles an hour. There's a part of your healing that can't take place till you're in it. Till you're in it.
That's exactly right.
Please say that louder so
I knew he was
everybody
gonna
can
say
hear
Till
that.
you're in it.
I knew he was going to say that.
That's
Till you're in it.
exactly.
We were just talking about that
Yeah.
last
Let me
night.
just say this. I just wrote a post about that the other day, because there's parts of your healing, just like he said, it only is going to take place in a relationship. There's no how you gonna heal certain parts? How you gonna heal rejection if you're not rejected? How you gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
How is that gonna happen? And so that was the decision.
How
that
do you heal rejection? Woman, no, that's a bar right there. How do you heal rejection unless you're rejected?
Exactly. And so that was when I just said earlier, the decision that I made, that I was going to put myself out there and put myself in a place where I can be hurt. Because if I'm going to heal from the fear of being hurt, I have to be hurt. Or I have to, you know what I'm saying? I have
gotta
to
be
be
exposed.
vulnerable. I have to be vulnerable. I have to be exposed. So that's exactly, we can't run from that. We gotta just put ourselves out there. You can't run from your healing. And that's why I said I put myself in that. I would never be in another relationship with someone who didn't have the ability to hurt me. Because that means that they're not it's not a relationship I need to be in. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. You have to put yourself in that place. And you have to be willing.
Yeah.
You're not going to die. And that's what I had to tell myself. I'm not going to die.
Almost.
I mean, I might feel like I'm going to die.
Right.
I might have to be in the bed for like 2 or 3 months. But I'll be all right. But guess what? When I come up out of that bed, though, do you see what I'm saying? Something about my character, something about that wisdom, something about that strength. I'm going to be a different person when I come up out that bed. But that's what I have to go through in order to become that. So
And you
yeah,
can't simulate
yeah,
danger.
yeah. Right.
You can't simulate it.
That's it. That's
So when
it.
we say, oh, until I'm ready to not be rejected,
Yeah,
so how are you going to simulate
you
it
can't.
when you won't expose yourself to
Exactly. Got to.
Yeah.
it? There's no easy way to do hard.
Hard is hard.
It's just hard.
I've been crying for 2 years, and I used to never cry. I cry all the time. I'm depressed. I get in the bed.
Ooh,
I will
Lord,
crawl
yes.
up and balled up.
Anybody got a
But
room
it's
I can move in?
self-inflicted, though. It's self-inflicted, though. I could avoid that if I wanted to, but I would stay in the same place I was. But because I want to grow, because I want to become something, because I need wisdom, because I need strength, because I need everything that this brings to me, and because I want to become this person, and also I want to help somebody else. You see what I'm saying? So I got to expose myself, and I'll be in the bed. My mama tell you. I feel everything now. I feel everything now because I make myself feel everything. I sit in it. I sit in pain, and I sit there and I'll be like, this hurts.
I'll be sitting in it with her.
This hurts. But guess what? When I finish, I'm different.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say. I finish when I'm done and I walk through that, I'm different.
I want to ask you another question.
And then we want a man to come up here and ask a question.
Yeah.
So when you girls come up.
Your
Tony, you too,
son
bro.
rejected you.
You too. You can
Okay.
come up.
Don't need to know the particulars of that. But I know how God works. I struggled. I haven't even told my story with my dad. Yeah. My dad was violent at levels, my earliest memory is my brother getting socked into the tile in the bathtub and blood dripping down as he fell in the bathtub naked. Because my dad went in there and beat him.
Wow.
Don't even know why. But my dad targeted my brother, and I got to see what it looks like when you are the target of a super violent person. I pursued my dad to restore our relationship after he had the heart attack, and he continued to reject me. I'm driving on the 105 after I'm trying to heal our relationship. So I bought him tickets for Dreamgirls. He and I are going to go see Dreamgirls. I bring him the tickets to Dreamgirls, and I say, hey, I bought tickets for us to go to Dreamgirls. You said you wanted to see the play. His response to me was this. I said I wanted to go. I didn't say I want to go with you. I went into my native language in my head. I'm going to just say that. In my head, I was in my native language. I'm driving down the 105, and we're done. I don't need you. Here's what God said to me. You are acting like I gave him to you as a father, and that I did not give you to him as a son. It flipped the whole thing around. Why? Because I was holding on to the should of something that was never really going to be.
Yeah.
We talk about forgiveness. I'm going to tell you what forgiveness is. Forgiveness occurs when you stop expecting them to be what they're not.
Exactly. Yes, 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 yes.
That's forgiveness.
Yes, that's good.
When I stop looking at you, asking you to be something you have consistently shown me you can't be.
Yep. Yep.
Now here's what God told me, and this is where I want you to search. He said, and it wasn't that you weren't fathered. It just didn't come from the place you thought it should.
Right.
And I realized God had always had a man in my life. God had always built relationships. I never really went without a father. My stepfather was my father. God made sure I had all male teachers in elementary school. You have no idea.
Wow.
And they called me Mr. Bell back then. Because they were sewing things into me. Now,
That's beautiful.
the whole basis of my ministry was out of that trauma. What I'm saying to you is this. Don't just look at the need for that to heal. Look at what God did in terms of providing surrogates. Because I guarantee you, there are connections you have where that need is absolutely being met. Stop looking for it to be met when it's already being met. You need to get comfortable that God uses surrogacy to heal us. That's why you weren't on the cross for your sins. Christ was. He's the ultimate surrogate. God has healed you with surrogacy.
Yes, and that has happened as of September of last year. Thank you so much. Thank
Bless
you so
you.
much.
Wow.
Yes, thank you so much.
Sorry, I'm not a guy, but
No, it's okay. It's okay.
so I have a question for you guys, but I wanted to start a
Say
little
your
bit. I'm sorry, I'm Amber, everyone. I'm actually an Illinois native, so I'm visiting California, and this has been beautiful so far. Before I ask my question, though, I want to kind of give just a quick background of my experience with my dad. And yes, I do have daddy issues. But about, I want to say 2 years ago, I found where the problem was, per se, or the healing needed to come from. And what resonated with me with the conversation you guys was having was the term disassociation. And throughout my growing up, I never saw myself as my dad. He struggled with drugs and other things in his life that kind of created that daddy-daughter issue that I could never understand because, of course, I was never on drugs. I was a good kid. I stayed focused. A lot of the things that he had issues with, I never experienced. So what ended up happening was God kind of gave me an epiphany and more of a revelation, and I was able to be in his shoes. And after having that experience a couple years ago and being in his shoes, I totally looked at my dad different. So I think from my conversations with my peers, I'm 36, so I tend to have these conversations with my peers a lot. Everyone kind of struggles with trying to see their parents as human. So when they grow up, they tend to think, well, they could have did this better, or they didn't teach me this, they didn't give me this. Instead of looking at the person and seeing where that person struggled in life or where the problems came from that curated the person they became. Like where there were their daddy issues or their mother issues. So I'm blessed to have found God as well, and been able to nurture myself through, or have him nurture me through this, and learn about my relationship with my dad, and learn the things that my dad struggled with, to see him in a different light. We don't necessarily have a close relationship, but as far as forgiveness, that's something I found myself doing back in 2020, but really manifesting 2 years ago when I was able to see the perspective of his eyes in a different way. So I wanted to bring that up first before I ask my question. So I really appreciate the feedback you've given, and you ladies have given, from both a male and a female perspective. And I think this is a topic that needs to be discussed, especially in the Black household, way more commonly, so we don't have children growing up to be incapable adults that can't grow relationships or heal in these, atmospheres, especially with relationships and 80% of Black men not being in household, of course. My question is, being a young woman who is in the field of relationship building right now and dating and things of that perspective, what are some questions that I can ask when in that market or in that network, from a male perspective and a female perspective, to help uncover those things about individuals who are struggling with daddy issues? Like, I do know my perception, but as you can see, we all have different experiences. So what are some questions we can throw out when dating, to ask, someone maybe on the other side of the table of us, to get a better idea of how they're coping, if they're coping, or are they healing from those things?
Such a good question.
I'm going to start with the first question you ask when you sit down on a date, to yourself, not them.
You want me to ask?
This is the question when you look them in the eyes, that first glimmer. Here's the question I want you to ask yourself as fast as you possibly can. Father of my children, and see how you respond. Because most men choose, remember I said physics, not chemistry. Most women choose a man they can handle or deal with. They don't necessarily choose the one they can partner with. So first question off the bat, and you need to ask it fast, because I don't want to be gender specific, but you all have a tendency to think through and overthink what is like right there.
And make excuses.
Like,
You're right.
So before you can even make an excuse, gut level, father of my children.
That's a good one.
Father of my children. Because you need to be able to partner with them. And even if you don't have kids, father of your children puts you in partner mode. And that's the most important thing, is over time, can I move through this with you and partner? The issue isn't whether or not he has daddy issues. The issue is whether he's a barrier or a carrier.
That's it.
Has he buried the issues, or is he carrying them?
Yep.
Everybody has daddy issues.
Yep.
From Genesis on,
Yep.
daddy issues. So the issue then becomes, I'll give you a better analogy. You ever see a couple land and they are on vacation and baggage claim? They go to baggage claim. And if you ever watch a couple on vacation, it's fascinating to watch. I study people if you haven't figured it out. But I'll watch, and the carousel comes up and their stuff starts going around. And one of them will say, oh, that one's mine. The other, oh, there's mine. Here comes mine. Here comes mine. And they're pulling them off. And then they stack them together. Here's the question about a healthy relationship and what you want to know. One, will he claim his baggage, or does it just keep going around the carousel? That's the first question I want to know. Can you call your baggage out while it's going around, or is it that one piece of luggage? They're like, somebody wasn't on that plane, because that luggage is still going around in a circle. So can he claim it? Then there's the second part of that. Can we get it to the car? Oh, I got your big bag. Okay, well, let me grab that one. And we distribute the weight between us.
Right. Wow.
You don't want to be with a man that between the two of you, y'all can't distribute this weight. He's not willing to carry something of yours. You're not, well, that ain't my bag. I didn't pack that. That's not my stuff.
Right.
So you got to have that.
Yep.
And here's the third feature.
Yep.
If we can't carry it, are either one of us willing to go get the cart? Outside help,
Yep.
outside support.
There you have it.
Those are the three things you want to look at.
Yep.
Can they name it and claim it? Can we share it?
Name it and claim it.
That's it.
And you need to be able to say what you will not carry and be honest.
Yep.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
I can't help you with that. That's,
Right.
and you need to be honest.
Yep.
You'll never look at traveling the same.
I'm saying, like,
I love that.
or something, because if I start asking about baggage, will they stay at the table? Just asking.
I love that.
You need to know that they'll claim it.
Yeah.
You
So the
don't.
right one won't think I'm crazy, is what you're saying.
The right one might think you're crazy, but they'll stay.
But he'll carry it with you. That's the thing.
The right one will stay.
Yep.
I'm gonna give you something free, ladies. If a man loves you, he pretty much knows within the first 3 dates. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that. The only thing holding you up from getting to the altar is somebody doing something stupid. Because men are wired to decide. They're wired to decide. So if he's telling, oh, I don't know about that and this and that, keep it moving.
Yeah.
Because the I don't know guy can't choose.
Right. Yeah.
And what he's saying is, I don't know, I want to see how this plays out, and then reserve the right to blame you or bail.
Blame you.
Blame you.
So,
That's it.
Deep stuff.
That's some deep stuff right there.
All right.
That was good. That was good. That was good, good, good.
Did you ladies have anything you want?
No, he just covered
I think
everything.
he covered it all, girl. I think he covered it all.
Woo. We got a guy coming. That's one time we got a guy coming to the mic. What's up,
Hi,
man?
my name is Jason Burrell.
What's up?
Can a, what'd you say, somebody who holds it in, I just forget the term.
carrier or barrier?
There we go. Can a barrier become a carrier? How does that happen? And, my response to being, my response as a barrier hurt me. Now that I'm becoming a carrier, well, now that I've learned how to carry it, those people that were hurt, you know, it's kind of hard for them to forgive. They looking around in other places. They don't know if they're sure, if they want to still do something. How would I just, besides the easy way of saying giving someone time, especially if they're Christian, how do I just deal with that, or deal with?
You mean the cost of your behavior?
Definitely the cost of my behavior.
You just said it. You're dealing with the cost of your behavior.
Okay, so then
So the question is, and we'll take it in small steps.
Yes.
Am I willing to pay this cost? I'm now back to baggage claim.
So it's plain.
Can I own this?
Can I own it?
And can we carry it? Are we willing to get a cart?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Because I guarantee you, one of those three things is going to be the issue.
Right.
Not being claimed,
All right.
not being equally distributed, not being willing to bring in outside support.
Well, what if that's true? Don't want to bring in.
Then it's over.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I don't mean to be cold.
But that's the way it is.
That's why I came up and asked.
Yeah, I don't mean to be cold. But we live a lot in the delusion of control and prevention.
No doubt.
That if we know enough and control enough, we can prevent and handle anything. But if there's no mercy, there's no movement.
Mercy on who's in.
There has to be mercy for the wounding you've caused.
Okay, yeah. I got you.
If there's no mercy for that, and we're not willing to move forward,
No, I'm saying, what if the people that were hurt
that's who I'm talking about.
aren't willing to go out to get the cart?
That's what I'm talking about. Then there's no mercy.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
Please hear what I'm saying. When you damage people at a certain level, we're actually past forgiveness.
Okay.
We're not moving into mercy. Mercy with God comes from Him.
Right.
He's not looking at us to be worthy of mercy.
Right.
Mercy is what I offer you at a level when I recognize you still have value to me, but there ain't nothing you can do to fix what you did. Nothing. So I give you mercy
Right.
in that space.
Okay, so that leads me to my next question, and this is kind of where I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say I'm struggling. I'm learning. How could somebody who believes in God, they were hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Trauma karma. I already got the answer.
Okay, so
Sit in it for a second before you move forward.
okay,
Trauma carnal. What did I say it was? It's a level of trauma that retains strategies, and I don't care what God says.
okay. So you're telling me a barrier could lead another person to that?
If they're hurt enough, yeah.
Okay.
And especially if you're hurting them was compound fracture.
Explain
Meaning-
compound fracture.
I already been broken like this before. So I already got daddy issues. And your lack of dependability makes it a compound fracture because I didn't heal from that fracture. And then you came along.
And so now that I've become a carrier for that person, it may be just too late.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay. All right. There's your mail question.
Wow. Wow. This is next level. Oh my God. Okay, I know we got about 5-10 more minutes. About 5 minutes. Okay. So we have one more question. A comment or whatever.
I really enjoy, these are my church singing partners, but not in choir. But I really enjoyed you all tonight. You know, we sit together in church. I was raised in the church. And I just want to say, we keep everything in. We have nobody to go to. I wish we had somebody like you when I was growing up. My father left early, but I had my grandma and my uncles. But I didn't know I missed my father until I got almost halfway grown. He was at nothing I was at. No concerts, no wedding, no nothing. And I saw him as he got older, and my mother kind of hated him. She did hate him. She did. And, but I never hated her. And I thanked God because I was in the church and I was saved, but we kept our business. It was like, you don't testify in your business. So you kept all of this. You never knew if somebody else was going through the same thing in the church because nobody told it. It was a secret, you know.
Exactly.
You don't tell your business, you know.
Yeah, you just
And
suffer
so I got married young. My mother's marriage didn't go good, so she had something to say about my marriage and made me make decisions. And then I remember getting married for the second time, and I didn't love him. But I just wanted a marriage. And it was because I wanted what I missed as a child. Mm-hmm. And I felt that you really helped me tonight. And as I was sitting there thinking about it, after 25 years, I said, I don't love him. Why am I here? My children are grown. And it took everything in me to say, it's done, it's over. Mm-hmm. And to get up and leave a marriage, a home, everything, just walk away. And when I finally met somebody, I had healed from the 25 years, but I knew what I wanted. And my kids were telling me, you were dating like you were changing underwear. And I was like, well, I don't have the time you have. So I just date. I don't have that time. Not 30 anymore, 40. No, you ain't working by. And so.
Sound like somebody else I knew.
Well, let me say this. I'm going to let you continue, but I want to say this. You need to understand when you're dealing with God, there are two runways he gives you. Mm-hmm. One is very short, one is very long. Mm-hmm. The long one is time to grow up. Mm. When he's done and you haven't grown up, then he gives you the runway of step up. Mm. And now you have to learn in the middle of it. Mm. Wow. So I got this time to learn.
Yes.
But like you said, now I don't have all this time.
No.
So I need a brother who can just step up.
Step up. Yes. And how I met my husband was amazing because I met him online, and I knew what I wanted, a black man. But I didn't want him to be so. I was raised Pentecostal Church of God in Christ, and they were Kojic. And you know, I believe you should be equally yoked. But I was like, my equally yoked meant he had to go to church with me. He had to be in 3 services. He had to be there for prayer. He had to be there for this. I said, I'm not doing that no more. That's over. And I said to him, do you believe in Jesus Christ? He said, I was raised Catholic. I believe in Jesus Christ, but this is where I was raised. I will go to church with you, not every service, but I will go with you. But I will never stop you from going to church. That man wakes me up every Sunday morning. Every service. Are you going? Are you leaving? And I said, this is relaxing. And he's doing all the things I want to do. He picks up my luggage from them going around. I won't be like picking up nothing. He picks up my luggage. He's everything I've always wanted in life. And I wish we talked more to each other to know our lives, but we don't. And I hope this next generation talks to each other so they say, well, you know, I'm going through that too. And we missed
support each other.
Yeah, support. We missed it. We missed it, our generation. Yeah, my generation. We just missed it. But I thank you all for this session. I wish we could do this at church sometime. I wish we could have this at church because this would be so good.
We actually at my church do it quarterly. We pull out the mic, no sermon. We just doing Q&A today.
This would be so great.
That's good.
So thank you all. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're going to get ready to wrap up here. Thank you for your question, and great to hear about your evolution.
I'm imposing. There was a question also. You raised your hand.
Laura?
Do you want to?
No,
You good?
Nah, come on up. I don't like the way you said we good.
I was just gonna say, I'm in that stage where I'm open. I'm ready to. I'm healed. All that good stuff, right? The Lord sent me multiple surrogates, but I want not just a whole man physically. I want a man who's whole. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want the daddy issues at this stage of my life, and I'm raising you, right? So that's all I wanted to say. And I thank you for you sharing your stories. I appreciate. I've been taking notes the whole time I've been here. So I appreciate y'all.
It'll be on YouTube, right?
Bless you.
It'll be on YouTube.
It'll be on YouTube,
Yeah, let everybody
Let
know.
everybody know that.
Yeah, so this will be on YouTube under Urban Birds and Bees on YouTube. Okay, so we're getting ready to wrap up here, but one big round of applause for our panelists. Could you give us like just 30 seconds of wisdom or insight that we leave our audience? We're going to start with you, Mom. 30 seconds.
I would just encourage everybody who have any kind of issues with parents or anybody really to seek God for the power to forgive, because forgiveness changes you. And forgiveness is not for them, it's actually for you. And it makes a big difference on how you navigate life.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Tracci.
I don't really have. I couldn't really think of anything, but I just. I mean, I just want to thank you for even putting this together, because this is great. Thank you for this opportunity. This topic is my ministry, so I'm just so grateful to be able to really kind of start the conversation, because this is something that plagues our community.
Yeah.
And the craziest part about it is most people don't even understand that this is like the foundation of their issues. Like, some people don't even get it. Like, it's a high pitch right over your head that you can't function in a healthy way in relationships, and sometimes you don't even understand it. Oh, it stemmed from your daddy or from your mama, or something like that. So I'm just grateful that God has enlightened me in that area, and he placed it on my heart that it's such a burden, and I really want to see people healed, and I want to see people just enlightened, so that healing journey can begin. So
Awesome. And Donald.
The fastest way to get your dad off of your target list is to get to know his story.
Yep.
Yes, that's true.
That is true.
Once I got my dad's story, that he was the product of an affair, they made him change his name. I carry the name Bell. My dad's father's last name was Perkins. They made him change his name and told him, I don't want to hear nothing about it moving forward. So that shaped him. The more you get to know their story, the more you'll understand yours.
That's true. That's
And
true.
I want to piggyback on that real quick, because that is where my healing began. Is when I forgave my father. It was when I realized, I found out his story. That's exactly what happened. And then my anger turned into compassion. Once I found out that he was incapable of being the father that I wanted him to be. So I released him from that. And I just forgave him. And when he passed away, I had no ill feelings towards him at all. In fact, I felt compassion. And ever since then, I have felt that way when I think about my father. So.
Wow, that's so powerful. Yeah, so we're going to get ready to go. And again, thank you all for, this has been, wow, life-changing just to be a part of this. One thing I'll just say, and it's interesting, Urban Birds and Bees, we're not necessarily a Bible study platform, we're inclusive, but today it was about what God can do in our lives if we would just stop fronting, take off the mask, and let God work through us. One of the things I'll just say too, in the recent Bible study, looking at the book of James, it's interesting. The book of James, and we're looking at the first 12 chapters, but James talks a lot about the trying and the testing of your faith, right? Well, it's interesting. So, obviously, you may know that the New Testament was actually originally written in Greek. So the word, the test or the trial, actually in the Greek is a word that they use to describe how they test certain metals. Very interesting. So for instance, like you get on an airplane, right? Taken for granted, whatever else. But there's a certain type of super alloy that they use to design airplanes. But before you get into it, before it's even built, they test that metal to see how it responds in adverse conditions. Extreme cold, extreme heat, never to destroy the alloy, but to test it, to see how it responds. The goal is, what they were saying in that scripture, is that God is using you and testing you, not in terms of how you're going to respond, so you'll see how you respond, so he can prepare you for the flight with the plane's design. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you again for coming out to the beautiful EMA Members Lounge here in the heart of Culver City, California. Once again, for Urban Birds and Bees, I'm Dr. Kerry Neal. Thank you for coming. Have a great evening.